demonstrating how to do this wrap, this wire weaving, to make these little suns that we made actually in last week's craft along live stream. Links to that are down in the video description. And I actually want to be experimenting with how to do that same kind of petaled, like sunshine, rays of sunshine weave around one of our groovy cabochons. And I've been kind of prototyping some different ideas, this one idea, and I didn't do it very well, but that's a fantastic opportunity to experiment and see how we might be able to do it better. So we're going to be doing that once we get the, I'm going to set this so that, how do I make it? I accidentally clicked a button and it booted me off my own stream, but I'm back. Okay. So that is okay. I'm just trying to find how I find my own live stream. There we go. That way I can read the comments and such. But we're going to be using a grooved cabochon, but while we're wrapping, we're going to be talking about how we would use just a traditional cabochon as well. So I'm excited. But let's see. Well, hey, Amer, how's it going? Got some folks coming in. Everybody click the like button. How are you doing today, Amer? I've got some coffee. We're getting it going. Good morning. Our second Sunday morning live stream. I'm really excited about that. Well, hey, Deborah. Says, hi, everyone. My back is stiff, ready for my second cup of coffee. Right on. Cheers to you. I'm still working through my first one, but I hope to be having my second cup of coffee in this afternoon's live stream. But what we're working with today, so let me show you guys first off. In the June, this month's craft along kits, I am sending out 18 gauge wire as well as 24 gauge. Now these are Parawire brand. I don't know how to make it not be backwards. Why is it backwards? All right, we're just gonna flip it around. Beep boop. Heh. This way everything will just make more sense. Hopefully. There we go. So we're going to be using 18 gauge and 24 gauge wire. These are what we send out in our craft along kits. For the month of June, we send out something different every month. Like I think actually next month we're going to be sending out chainmail so we can all be weaving chainmail together. Which always makes me happy. Right on. Amir says, oh good, I used up all of the last chainmail. Right on. Hey, Kitsune. But yes, I'm very excited about it. I think we're going to be tackling the Celtic Visions weave next month. Well, hey, Holly, how's it going? Ooh, hubby got me stainless steel. It's harder on my hands. Stainless steel is no joke. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that stuff whoops me every time. But yeah, in your, like, what I'm going to show you is a sample of the $25 kit. Now, your cab won't have the wire on it, but just bear with me. So for the links are down in the video description, but this is an example of our $25 craft along kit. You'll be getting the 2 spools of wire, one of our grooved cabochons in this like lemon drop yellow color, one of our blue aventurine, just beautiful shimmery cabochons, and one of our like molten sunshine, I don't know what to call it, but just summer heat cabochons that I love the way we used some of our homemade frit, so we were actually able to trap some really nice large air bubble. Like, I think it just looks like one little planet floating in a nebula, and I just love that. So as well as you'll either be getting 3 12mm beads of Amazonite or red jasper. So it just kind of luck of the draw on that one. So in last week's live stream, we made this wire wrap. And here's how it looks that if you coil it as well. And so, well, hey, peekaboo. And I'm using my own personal wire because I like to save the bare copper for y'all, like the spools like this to send out in the kits. But if you don't have one of our kits, that's okay. You can still craft along with us with just whatever you have on hand. So again, I'm using 18 gauge and 24 gauge wire. And if you're crafting along with me today and you have any questions, be sure to just holler at me and we'll try our best to be helpful to you. Ooh, how long have you been collecting? Collecting what? Like, since the day, since the day I was born, probably. Like, I love rocks and stuff, if that's what you mean. Kitsune says, once I get my stuff from Parawire, it's all over. It's only just begun. You got this. Oh, Holly says, I actually made a second subscription last night. Oh, I couldn't find my confirmation from June 21st purchase, so joined again, especially knowing doing chainmail next month, going to just keep the 2. Oh, right on, Holly. Well, fantastic. May change the address after that to my niece for the second kit. Oh, okay. Oh, Peekaboo says, yes, collecting all of this stuff and crafting things. Probably since like 2005 was whenever I started crafting, like, just for myself, like, because that's my current husband and I started dating, and he'd gotten me some earrings, and I needed to swap out the earring posts, and I was getting into going to Ren fairs, so I wanted to, like, make my own necklace. But I've got endless amounts of questions. Keep them coming. We started our business, like, full-time in 2008. So we've really seriously been, like, all this, I can show y'all. My bead wall, all this stuff. This is just some of it. I've been collecting beads and just craft supplies and stuff since 2008. But then in 2020, we got into making glass and torch work and stuff. And please pardon me, we have like a 19-year-old cat who she'll stand in the litter box and then just go like and explode. So, but yeah, my house is a mess. But that's just the reality that I live in. I'm a trash gremlin. Ooh, Amamra says, will you post a video of the alternative projects? We'll kind of just have these live streams for now. With us moving to Alabama soon and DragonCon prep, I can't make any promises in regards to anything as far as what I'll actually get done. Oh, a mare. Wish I was crafting along. Seems baby wants some milk and cuddle. Glad you have recorded instructions. Can we watch these lives, though? Yes. YouTube will keep the live on the channel. It's not like over on Kick. But I don't really I try to not hoard and stuff, just because I am a hoarder. So if I let myself hoard, it's a slippery slope. But it's my business beads. And so I'm going to be using a ring clamp to clamp onto here just to save my hand. Oh, right on. Peekaboo says, oh, okay. I like doing arts and crafts too. I've been into it since forever. Nice. And so to do the perimeter of a 12 millimeter bead, it took 10 repetitions of the Rays of Sunshine weave. And so, hey, Melisandre, how's it going? I want to be going around this cabochon. And I had an idea and I was trying to implement it, but I was doing it very unevenly. But now I think I've figured out how to use a groovy cabochon to be the, part of an armature for, a dragon foot. Because if you can imagine both of these, and I don't know, but we're going to take the wire off of this one. The wire sizes that I'm using today, Holly, are 18 gauge for our core wires and 24 gauge for our weaving wires. Well, hey, Dragon Art. I like dragons. But yeah, so on these glass cabochons, this is one of our homemade fused glass that we cooked in our home kiln, melted it down, and then I use a bit of a grinding bit on a grinding machine to add this groove. Melisandre says, too hot here to do anything. Oh, goodness. And so let's see how much we're going to need to go around the perimeter of this, though. So I'm just going to use the tail end of one of our wires. You could use scrap wire or a beep boop, what you call it, bit of string, or a flexible ruler or something. So this is the perimeter. Oh, well, hey, Sins, the Hobbit says, dropping in, just give love to you, Yvonne and Randy. Well, thank you. You're the greatest. How have you been doing? I'm laughing about something funny that happened when I was at an arts and crafts fair recently. At least to me, it was funny. Oh, yeah? So I'm going to need this much more. So let's see. And oh, I do have a ruler. Look at that. La, la, la. Holly says, are we getting groovy cabs in this month's kit? Yes. Ooh, Penny, how are you doing? Oh, it's so good to hear from you, Penny. So we have, I'm going to do it in centimeters. Well, hey, Itzy. Oh, it feels like a family reunion today. But yeah, one of the yellow ones have a groove in them for the month of June. And if yours doesn't, be sure to send us an email because, we are human and we still make mistakes. So we have 45 millimeters here. And it looks like we'll need 75 to go around the perimeter. Now, your stones may be different because they all come out just slightly different in size. So we'll need 30 more millimeters. So how many? It looks like we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll do 8 and then size check it. Set that off to the side. We're going to put this back into the clamp. And so we're streaming today here on YouTube from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to 1 p.m. And then we're taking a break. And then we will be streaming over on Kick, kick.com/Back-to-Earth-Creations from 3 until 6 p.m. where we will be sculpting some more dragons, making some dragon helms for DragonCon. And so just like we're building on what we did together last week. So we have our 4 strands of 18 gauge wire. I've made about a centimeter of like coiled. I'm going to try to make this as easy on the camera as possible. This is just some coiled 24 gauge wire that I use right here to keep my wires from getting pinched. And I'll demonstrate that a little more as we go. If y'all could do me the big favor and tickle my like button, I think that helps the algorithm. Of course, just if you're liking it, but... Oh, maybe, Holly, that's a great idea. We should have shipped your package last week, but if we didn't, it will get shipped tomorrow with your new one. So this will be the first out of the 2, but yeah, I just like to slide that up out of the way. That way I can try to get this wire down and in, but before I cinch it, I want to move that back up. Hey, Randy. Could you help me? I need one of the camera arms that's on the microphone stand. Oh no, you were in a stinky craft store? Huh? Peekaboo was saying they were in a stinky craft store. It was stunk so bad they had to leave. Makes me feel fortunate that I don't have a sense of smell. So thank you for the tripod, honey. All right, y'all. I'm going to swap tripods because every time I bump the table, it shakes the camera, and that makes me wild. So that's the tripod, I promise. It's not me stinking up Peekaboo craft store. Uh-oh. Sometimes my phone's so heavy it makes the tripod droop. There we go. I have to go through my PCA here. I don't get much time for internet. Oh, okay. Well, Penny, we love you, and it's always good to see you, and I hope you're doing well, and hopefully we'll see you next time. But it's made my day to see you. All right, so now I can shake the crap out of my desk, and it doesn't bother the tripod. Boom. Ah, Kitsune found it. Where you got that damn like button? Well, hey, Maria, how's it going? All right, so now we can zoom in. I can shake the table all I like. That makes me happy. And then I'm going to scooch it on out of the way again. There's one. And there's two. Oh, did they have, was there like a skunk or something in the store, or? Okay. Rice is very interested in seeing your work. Right on. Well, right now what I'm doing could be utilized for this shape of like kind of sunshine, bead pendant, but I have this grooved cabochon that I want to experiment with seeing if I can do this around a cabochon, because I love doing it around a bead, but you can see how much of the bead protrudes out the back, and that just can't be helped on something that's spherical. Oh, peekaboo, that's rough. Whereas this one, I like that we can have a nice big focal point, but it's not super thick. So there's one, two. Okay, so we're bringing that around, and we're going to go up through here. And to help get us a nice crisp, I want to bend up first and then come down and through, and that just helps so much. I don't know if you could see how I was struggling with the previous one, but I certainly was. So we just bend up, and that gives us that little bit of a training bend so that now whenever we come around, it's already nestled in. Whereas if I just go around like this and then go around like this, do you see how that gives us, well, it's not super evident right now, but whenever I smush it with my nylon gel pliers, we're not going to have as tight and even of tension. Though heck, I don't know, that came out pretty nice. Well, maybe I'm doing all this work for nothing, but if you're having difficulty with your tension, this might be helpful to you. So there's the second one. And now I'm going to remove that nice and out of the way, and I'm going to go like one and then two. And so from here, that was two of the stunk. Hey, Misty. Right, Misty's like, I wonder if it was like all the oils and candles and flowers and various things off-gassing into one giant smell. Since I don't have a sense of smell at all, so I always find it fascinating to hear about. So we're going to compare this to our wire of how much we need. And so we're going to do at least 3, possibly 4 more, because I am starting it with 5 coils. And then, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about with that little bit of unevenness. That's what I'd like to avoid. It's not the end of the world, but if I can have it be tidier, I would like that. A member says, my smell hasn't worked well in years. There's a bunch of us that can't smell, right? Oh, no. Well, Holly, don't you worry a bit, because you can always back it up. And I'm going to be doing this a few more times as well. So I'm still practicing my sense of smell, as odd as that might sound, but I could be doing better about it. But every time I'm out in the garden, I like to practice sniffing things. And I have been practicing with a rotation of, because I used to have a very sensitive sense of smell, and I loved, gardening. A big part of that was to get to experience all the fun smells, of like the earth and the plants and different things. But I also really enjoyed essential oils because I make my own body oils and incenses and different things. But I've been practicing a rotation of clove, eucalyptus, lemon, and rose to just practice picking up on the smell of it. Because I think my like olfactory system, my nose, my sniffer, the sniffing part of my brain got lazy because it's like, well, I can't smell anything, so I'm just going to stop putting brain power towards that. So my hope is that I can practice sniffing and just it keeps me present and mindful too. Oh, Amira says I can smell the basil in my garden. Isn't it nice when something makes it through? Yep. Peekaboo says, you know what makes me laugh is when someone smells something horrible and then they re-smell it just to ensure that what they're smelling was horrible. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, keeps life spicy. All right, so we've done those 2 wraps. And I tell you what, y'all, I do love this ring clamp for holding on to this, just because normally I'd be like, you really pinching trying to hold, but they have one that has a wing nut that you can tighten and it'll get it, but I always get snagged on the wing nut. I like having a nice, seamless, nothing poking out, because my wire will get tangled on it. But it does all the tight gripping for me. So now I can just kind of just hold on to it. So I'm trying to work on retrain myself out of death gripping my projects. My sense of smell isn't as bad as sun, but my sense of taste is a lot weaker than it used to be. Oh, yeah? That makes sense. One, two. Oh, getting tangled up in my spacer bead. Well, hey, Barbie, how's it going? How are you doing this morning? And I do like to scooch up, my little, move my clamp every like 2. Ah, Holly says I use clamps a lot too with broom making to hold tension. Oh, that's fantastic. And it gives me a good nice smush too. I like the ones that have the leather in the jaws because that way it's not going to be biting into my wire. Oh my goodness, Peekaboo. It's a little early in the day for scatological humor. Well, hey, Virginia, how are you doing? Come on in, we crafting. Uh-oh. See, I'm supposed to have the spacer because otherwise I'll just pull nice and tight and it'll get to where by those the 2 coils that I do just on this one wire, I won't even be able to fit them in. So getting that trained up, scooching it, placing it, scooching it, tightening it. And so I'll try to slow down on this next one. We're going to go 1 and 2 coils around. If this is wire 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the farthest away from me. Wow, what grade was this? And then we're going to wrap once around 2 wires, once around 3 wires, and once around all 4. I like to support from the back because if I pull down, do you see how it pulls that wire out of alignment? And also, if anybody is active like on Facebook or anything like that, and you have some friends that you think might be interested in wire wrapping, be sure to share the link to this live stream so that they can join in and craft along with us. Oh, in second grade? I remember I wet myself in second grade. It can be quite embarrassing. You know, it's hard being a kid, just figuring out how to exist in the world. But I didn't want to stop doing my assignment, but I couldn't hold it anymore and just, but I was just mortified. Luckily, everybody already made fun of me for just existing anyway, so it was like, because I had an eye patch and a bowl haircut, so I may as well. You and I weren't in class with each other, were we, Peekaboo? Nah, my second grade teacher was, shoot, what was her name? Mrs. Gormick. Yeah. All right, so it wasn't our same class, but all right, I think that'll be the last one that we need to go around. I don't know. We could do one more. Let's do one more. No, I was in Ohio at the time. That is what I use. I had to buy a second one because the triangle part disappeared from my first one. Oh no! Yeah, that's pretty essential to to the whole to the whole setup. Yeah, I'm gonna risk doing one more just because. Working on a spider bracelet? What's a spider bracelet? Oh, Holly, that's so cool. Holly says, I sent your links to my grandniece when she wanted some stuff for wire wrapping. So I sent her a bunch of tools and wire. Oh, that's amazing, Holly. I hope she has a lot of fun with it. I've really enjoyed wire wrapping. Really, I've just enjoyed crafting in general for a long time. You know, it's always been fun to kind of just make something. You know, if you have it in your mind or in your heart to make something and then to make it and to, you know, kind of prove to myself that I can get better at something with practice over time. It's very encouraging. 4 and 5. We're finishing that off. So this only used around 5 feet of the 24 gauge wire. Oh yeah, Virginia. No way. Yeah, I was born in Ohio, met my husband while we were in high school in Texas, moved to Tennessee, and then now we're here in Missouri, but we're moving to Alabama in October. So, oop, loud noises, my bad. All right, just putting that back over that way. Bobby says, doing awesome. Just chugged coffee for no reason. Chug, chug, chug. I really like it in the southeast. Beautiful, beautiful hills. Without, like, you know, it's also the Appalachian Mountains up in where I lived in Ohio, but we got a lot of snow up there, and I can do without that. So I really like living in the. We used to live in this, fell in love with the southern Tennessee, but northern Alabama is just as gorgeous and wonderful. Oh, wow. Oh, American Sign Language? That's cool. So now I'm coming through and just kind of chomp, chomp, chomp on all of the little rays of sunshine that we've just woven. And now I'm going to do this one first. Just gripping it with my bent nose pliers and then sliding that out. And then gripping here. Ooh, sliding out. It gets a little harder the more wire you have wrapping around, but that's okay. And then pulling that out. There we go. And I like to grip with my whole hand like this. So as opposed to just holding in one spot. And I find that keeps me from bending or really warping my weaving. Okay. And so now I'm going to hold our core wire. And I just want to scooch this down a little bit And I do that by pressing on the end first and then running, and it kind of just inchworms along. But now this should be nice and centered up in our 18 gauge wire. That is about 14 inches long. And so now from here, we're going to take, some of this 24 gauge wire that I just balled up off to the side. And we're only going to need about maybe 20 inches, really give myself, no, we'll use a whole bunch. Let's use 4 feet because we're going to be using this to wrap the bail as well. Virginia says, my best friend and I learned American Sign Language in high school so we could talk during study hall without getting into trouble. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Hey, baby. Man, I kind of wish it had landed on an even number, but that'll be okay. So we're going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just going to come in here like kind of with my thumbnail. So this is going to be a little offset, but we're experimenting. So I've pressed with my fingernail or thumbnail, to be just right there in between. I want to split those wires so that we can fit this wire just in between them. Do you see how that's happening? Wow. Oh, that's amazing, Holly. And so now I'm going to take this and I just want to cross these wires quite tight. So you're able to see what's happening there? We've spliced in a wire. And then just coming around, and I want to put a very, just a single twist, nice and strong. Oh, I should have just used my pliers to keep it from loosening up. Because we got to be careful because the copper wire can like chew through itself, if that makes sense. And I don't want this to be spaced too far out. But I want to open it up nice and wide. So what kind of crafts are y'all working on today? Is anybody wire wrapping along with or just taking notes for later? So you can see how I now have that nestled into that outer groove. And then I'm going to just twist the once. And then I'm going to get my pliers in there and tighten that down. Making sure, oh, no wiggle. I'm trying bezels out again. Nice. And now I'm just going to shape this around. It's given a little bit more of a teardrop shape than what I wanted because of the way it's protruding. But we can kind of just smush that down a little. And then shape our rays of sunshine there around the edge. I gotta go let the dog in. I'll be right back. Z, come on, baby. Good boy, good boy. Yes, good boy. Such a good doggy to come in. I think I need actual jeweler supplies and not a costume jewelry setup. Oh, really? What would you consider a costume jewelry setup? Like, are you trying to do like smelting and stuff, or? So I feel like this part could use a little bit of work, but my goal was to try to do, because here we have that wire going through the center of the bead. And so I figured instead of it going through the center of the bead, it would come up and go around. And so it certainly does look like I could have used a couple more rays of sunshine, but this is just an experiment, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything other than what it is. And so now I'm going to be taking my flat nose pliers, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grip one pliers width away from where our coil stopped and press up quite firmly. And then I'm going to change the positioning of my pliers until it's right there, and I'm going to give it a good squish. And then I'm going to come and do that same thing right here, and pressing up. And then I'm going to bring it around, and then I'm going to give it a good squish. That way it's protruding up. Ooh, okay. And that leaves us a nice little bit of space so that it looks like our cabochon is just floating in there. Holly says, about to cut wire, going to put this on a large rectangular labradorite I just got from Etsy. I still have to do unboxing videos of stones, but trying to hang out with you here today in kicks. Oh, well, Holly, don't let us get in the way of your productivity, but that sounds like it's going to be awesome. Oh, crafting a party? Oh, that sounds fun, Peekaboo. I think I need to smelt it, but I don't have the best means to do so. Gotcha. Yeah, getting into like metal smithing and smelting and things, that's a whole nother beast. Hey, Michelle. She says, I'm connecting all the links I made yesterday to make my moon necklaces for my dance group. Oh, that sounds fun. The bezel wire is really springy, and even using the bezel pusher, it's not hugging the stone as tight as I need. Something that I've found whenever I get a lot of spring back is, like, let's say I'm wanting to make a bezel for this cabochon. I would be using my ring mandrel to, I don't want to ruin that end of the wire. So let's say, I want to make the wire be this size. And the copper wire that I'm using is nice and dead soft, so it doesn't have much spring to it. So if I'm doing something that's got a lot of spring to it, I'll go to a size that I know is smaller, and I will I'd make it to that size. I'd shape it to that size of mandrel, because then it would spring back out to fit around my stone. Like, does that make sense? It's like overbending it, kind of. You're going to be my memento for doing this on the rectangle lab. Oh, okay. Right on. That's going to be fun. Well, hey, Ingrid. How's it going? Ooh, Peekaboo says, what's the project you've done that's taking you the longest to do? That would definitely be this dragon over here. That is my garden dragon. We spent probably about 4 months on her. Sculpting. So that's definitely, so far that takes the cake as far as projects that have taken me the longest. Now, granted, during that time, I think, we didn't have running water for like 39 days, and that kind of got in the way of productivity, but still, that was the longest anything's been on my workbench in a really long time. Ooh, Holly says, I never realized till I got a ton of them how translucent labradorite is. Yeah, it's actually beautiful, like in sun catchers and stuff too. Like, I love labradorite. All right, on Peekaboo. Hey, Silver Girl. Haven't seen you for a while. You're the best. What a great thing to come across. Right on. Yeah, we're streaming every Sunday now here on YouTube, as well as we've been doing our Friday live streams. But YouTube hadn't been super great about sending out the notifications, but that's okay because we have a free newsletter where we send out notifications every time we go live. But yeah, we do Friday and Sunday live streams. We post a new vlog post, which is like the behind the scenes craft room stuff on Tuesdays. And we live stream over on Kick. That's kick.com because they don't have ads, which I think is very nice. Let's see. So yeah, I want to wrap. I'm just going to wrap around both of these. 2, 3, 4, 5. So really just as similar to what we did in last Sunday's wire wrap as what we possibly can. I'm trying to stick to that formula and just tweak it so that it's on a groovy cab. Labs almost look like nature was playing with resin and glitter. Nature does it real well, I tell you what. Dragon, says a mermaid. Oh, Faceless is... Wait, I want one. Ah, we sell some stuff at backearthcreations.com. And you can use coupon code HAPPYCRAFTER to get 10% off your order, just as a thank you for being here and hanging out. Oh, this is fantastic, though. Because my concern, too, is that, like, I didn't want this to, like, spin. And it doesn't really seem like it's going to be spinning on me. So that's nice. So now that we have 5 little wraps done, I can hold with my pliers and do another 5. Sorry, I don't mean to wander out of frame. But if I didn't do that, then no one would ever leave any comments on my videos saying, get back in frame. And I'd be like, it's too late. It's already after the live stream. So if I'm ever blurry or out of frame, do feel free to holler at me here in the live, you guys. That way I can course correct. I'm using my heat brick and a butane torch. Maybe I can heat the wire to loosen it up. Oh, possibly. Is it copper or steel or silver? Because I don't know much about annealing steel, but torch annealing with copper or silver should soften it up. I had heard of a trick that I use for using it, putting a bit of Sharpie, like just drawing on it with Sharpie, and whenever the Sharpie disappears, it's annealed. So I want to coil at least an inch worth of coil here for the bail. Oh, coated copper? Be very careful with the torch. The enameling on some of the coated coppers can like pop and sizzle. And I mean, it'll all burn off, and you'll still be able to use the copper core. But just watch out, like wear your eye protection and an apron and, you know, clothes that don't melt. Hey Cindy, how are you doing today? There we go. Can it be put into boiling water to warm up? Would that work? Oh, I don't know if 212 degrees is hot enough to affect the molecular density of the metal, if that makes sense. Ooh, Holly says, I ordered a propane kiln, so going to try melting my scrap wire and making small ingots to then make new metal sheets and wire to use. Oh, Holly, that's a dream of mine. Let me know how it goes. Like, let us all know how it goes whenever you get that going. Cindy says, doing good. How are you guys doing? We're doing really well. We had probably the most successful live stream, like live auction this past Friday. And that was just such a relief because I was really like excited and stressed out about that. Like good stress, but still, you know, because we had missed the weekend prior to that. We were supposed to be at SoonerCon, but we had to cancel because we weren't able to have a house sitter and just all sorts of stuff. Everything was going awry, so we called it before we just drove into what would be a disaster for us. But it all worked out. And then, so for things to go so well at the auction last night was just phenomenal. Well, not last night. It was the night before. But then yesterday's live stream went really well. Make me very happy. La, 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 da, da, da. Oh, really? Holly, Silver Girl says, my dream is to get a metal wrap piece from you, a really complex, good one. Right on. Well, I'll have to start making good ones again. I've been trying to get my groove back since hurting my hand. Ah, that'd be cool, Cindy. To Kenzo, to Dave and Buster's. Happy birthday, Kenzo! Okay, so you might be able to see here, we've bent the bale over a 6mm stick mandrel. I want it large enough that I can fit the chain or whatever it is that I'm going to be suspending this on through there. And I'm going to wrap around the whole thing once, and then let's go ahead and give it a second wrap too, just because that makes me happy. And then I'm going to take, we've just got this short end of our wire here. Even if you're just passing through, if you could help me out by tickling my like button, I think that makes the algorithm really happy. And whether the algorithm likes it or not, it makes my day, so thank you guys. Don't be nervous, Itzy, you got this. She said, I went to get my wires and tools out, but it's been so long, I'm a wee bit nervous. Just pull them out to, like, see if anything needs dusted or oiled or, you know. It's amazing what can happen once we get our hands on our tools and things again. Right on, Holly. It's still in the box, so we'll see when I actually do it. Where'd you get it from? Like, what kind did you get, I wonder? And so I'm filling in this gap here on the side just to have it coiled to make it look like on purpose. Well, hey, Anika. How are you doing today? Oh, he's 7 now. That's a good age to be. So this one I'm going to take and I'm going to bend just off to the side, like really bent off to the side. And then I want to come in right here and just give it a snip. Because with that bend, now we don't have to worry about the wire slipping off of the end, but now we only have one wire to have to worry about. And I'm going to take this one and bend it off to the side. Now, Randy said that he likes it better when it's got a coil. So, like, this is coiled and this one is not coiled. So, I'm going to, last week we did this one, so this week I'm going to show you how to do the coil. We're doing real well, Anika. Getting the edge solders is not happening. Oh, no! So just coiling the rest of this wire, our 24 gauge, around this 18 gauge core wire. And I want to coil until we get to where it'll line up with here. And one of the things that's going to make that a little easier is if I just bend so that the pendant is out of the way. And then if I try to stay in frame. And so as I coil around, I'm trying to maneuver my hand so that I'm not intercepting. And I want to make sure I'm striving for my wires to be as close to each other as possible. So I'm actually going to get in here and hold. Again, because I can hold just very lightly and this will grip without nearly as much tension. But I want those wires to be very next to each other as we wire wrap. So do you see how it's kind of just landing? Whoop. We don't want it going back over itself like that. It's problematic. It's causing problems. But we just want to go whoop. Foomp, foomp. And then we give it the old smushy squish. There we go. Just getting that nice and compressed down. Oh, thank you, Anika. Looks like a little sun. That's what I was going for. Because it's June, midsummer, baby. Just stretching my hand. It's so important to listen to our bodies and stretch when we need to. Let's keep it crafty, you guys. Ooh, I don't want to forget what it is that I'm doing and get carried away just in having fun wire wrapping. Oh, and it looks like we realized just in time, because what I'd like to do here is I want to stabilize this to our frame. Holly says 3 main base wires, right? We actually had 4. We have the one that is cut to 14 inches, and then we have these 3 that are just 5 inches long, but they get pulled out, and so I've been reusing these for all of these projects. So, but then, and you could do more, but then you get really big, you know, long, oh yeah, oh, anytime, Holly. Okay, so it looks like maybe 3 or 4 more coils to get us to where it'll be lined up with that little cross piece right there. So there's 2 and 3. Tightening that down. And so now as we come through, I want to sew through the back, or through to the back. Well, hey, Izza, how's it going? And then, yeah, just pull in nice and tight, nice and snug. There's no reason to rush these things, but I'm just trying to be deliberate. And so we've wrapped around that little bit of wire. And now we get to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I may need to show y'all how to splice some wire in, which is a super handy skill to have in your toolkit for whenever you run out of your coiling or weaving wire. And if you find yourself needing a stronger fingernail, this is a thimble that I've put some Next Care tape, some like rubbery medical tape on the inside so that it doesn't irritate my skin or bite into me. But you can just bring it around and then use the thimble to push and press. I personally actually prefer it this way, just because it gets it lined up with where I'm used to my fingernail being. Right, Holly says, especially to splice in so you don't see. Yeah, doing an invisible splice is super tricky, but very rewarding. And I'm just wrenching my core wire every single which way, and that's all right. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to control the chaos and just bend it to where it's protruding out this way. That way we can much more easily, without causing continual distress to our wire, our core wire. Oh, really, Kitsune? Well, now you know. Were you talking about the edge soldering? So there, usually about every 10 coils, I like to just come in and compress that in. I'm going to hold with my nylon jaw pliers again. And you can see this is definitely not going to be enough, but that's okay. Well, hey, Indigo. This is first time watching. So fun. Well, thank you for joining us here today. My name's Yvonne. My company is Back to Earth Creations. I run it with my husband, and we started it back in 2008, selling handmade jewelry and belly dance costumes, and we've done a lot of things over the years, but I still love making jewelry, and most of all, I love getting to teach. So what we're doing today is I'm actually whoop, oh no, we got a jackknife. That's all right. We're demonstrating some things that you can make with our June craft along kits, but if you don't have a kit, that's okay. We're just using 18 gauge and 24 gauge wire. Now, I'm using enameled craft wire, but in the kit we're sending out a bare copper, which will be fantastic for if you like soldering or oxidizing your pieces. It's good to experiment with that as well. And then one of our grooved cabochons that we actually do a tutorial showing you how to make and groove your own. Wow, Silver Girl says that's crazy. I've been watching since 2008. Well, we started our business in 2008, but we made our YouTube channel in 2012, and then we started really posting every day back in 2016. So you can see we don't have enough wire, but that's okay. We have some wire here to the side, and I was coiling in this direction so that it comes from behind and goes around. So that's how I want to continue adding a little bit of wire. Ah, the bezel is stainless steel after all. Gotcha. Whenever you started filming, wow, Silver. Well, we appreciate you. It's been a minute, huh? So I'm kind of just getting my fingernails in there and just opening it up just a smidge. And so I'm going to backtrack about 1/4 of an inch or so, leaving myself a little bit of tail. And I want to just start setting this wire in between the other coils. This is best demonstrated typically with a second wire color, because if it were a separate wire color, you'd be able to see it would look like an alternate stripe. There we go. And then we'll squish that on together, and you can see that's where the loose end is on this one. And then if you can have the loose ends be oriented towards the back of the piece, that helps it to be a little bit more invisible. But, you know, don't hold yourself to a standard of perfection. It doesn't have to be immaculate and flawless to be good and beautiful and fun. I'm just using my bent nose pliers to kind of squish that end in. Remembering all the different craft rooms and setups at craft shows. Yeah. It's been a whole story arc, and we're fixing to start a new chapter of our life in Alabama, in what I do believe is going to be our forever home. And I'm very excited for that. So now I'm just carefully shaping around. What? Itzy says, I followed you on Instagram on a group art page. Can't remember the name. Was awesome when you made your YouTube channel too. It was a lifetime ago. Holly says, I think I got the thimble off your Amazon affiliate list. Don't you do the guitar picks? I got metal ones and set that as 0.5 up to 1 millimeter thick ones in a case. Thought that would be good for spacing. Oh, that's clever. No, I only use guitar picks for guitar picking. But You mean like the ones that like go on your fingers? And I'm gonna do just a few more. What do y'all think? Spiral or no spiral on this one? Either way, I'm going to add like 5 more, I think, just to keep that spiral going all the way to the end. Southern Unique uses the guitar picks. Oh, okay. Man, Hal does really good work. Spiral, says Cindy. Right on. Just a regular guitar pick, or on the finger ones for pushing the wraps tight. Gotcha. That's very clever. Okay, so I have enough of this coil now that we will be able to come around. Because I want it nice and tight, but I want it sitting nice and comfy there at the edge. Oh, well, thank you, Gombat. And I'm going to add a few more coils, just bringing this around. Well, I feel like I'm in very good company if y'all enjoy watching me as well as watching Hal. There we go. Very pleased with that. Giving the old squishy smush. Well, hey, Ralph, how are you doing today? Tightening that around. And then with this last bit of wire, I'm going to go ahead and do as we were before, where I'm going to fill in this little gap on this side. But I want to continue in the direction that makes sense. So I'm going to come up from below. Oh, Kitsune says, Yvonne is the only reason I keep trying vending in my online store. Oh, goodness. Well, I hope you enjoy it, you know, like, because vending, I can see why, you know, if somebody doesn't enjoy vending, I can understand that. Like, you got to be a little masochistic to really like vending. Um, but, well, hey, Mal, this is a grooved cabochon, but we're fixing to show you here in the second half how of today's live stream how to do this with just a regular cabochon. No groove at all. Okay, so if you get a kink in your wire, so let's say we're getting nice and kinky. There we go. Where'd it go? There it is. And that one, I mean, that's really nice and tight in there. What I like to do is try to unkink it, at least getting it all to be traveling in the same direction again. And usually I have an easier time doing that with 2 pliers than I do with just my fingers. So we can pull that tight. There we go. And then we can kind of gently squish it and smush it from 2 different directions. Oh, well, thank you, Gon. Says, I've been watching you for a while now. I love all the things you do. So you go, girl. Well, thank you. Again, just trying to get my groove back after, sometimes change can feel like failure. And a lot has been changing about our business over the years. And sometimes I have to let go of what was most important to make room for what will be. And so I'm really glad that it got that mindset, because now we're sculpting, and I'm really, really loving that. Like, I still love wire wrapping and chainmail and stuff, but those feel like smaller parts to a bigger picture now, that I'm sculpting and making big like art pieces and stuff. So there we go. I love that you're not afraid of it. Oh, I do not mean to be misleading. I'm scared shitless. I'm terrified. Like, I'm so afraid of, um, oh, I don't even know what I'm afraid of. I'm just scared shitless. Like, my knees are shaking. But I can do this. We can do this. You know, it's just our life. We got to give it all we can. It's scary, but we are brave. Oh, Tiger says, "Hi, Vaughn. I hope you're having a great day. I sent you an email after I got my last order, but I haven't heard back, so I wanted to make sure you saw it. There was an extra cab in my box." Oh, well, I don't think I've seen your email. Um, but was it in a bag or was it just loose? You show you're human, the fails and the wins. Well, human for now. Because if it was just loose in your box, Tigress, that's a freebie. Man, there's so much cat fur on my pliers. Cat fur's free. But if it was in a baggie with like an item number on it, it was just loose. It wasn't on the order either. Yeah, that's just a freebie. That's just us being like, thank you for your order. Here's an extra cabochon. Do 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 do. I like sneaking in little free stuff into the orders. I try to not advertise that we do it because just in case I like don't have any or something, I don't want somebody to be like, I didn't get the free freaking gift, you suck. And I'd be like, I'm sorry. But yeah. It's just a freebie, it's for you. We appreciate you and you know, placing your order and supporting our business. And there we are. Why, yeah. And so now, okay, let's say I were looking at this and it is the work of my enemy, so I'm really gonna be mean to it and pick it apart. Let's see. It's not as perfectly circular as it could be. There's kind of a weird, the gap here is a little bit bigger than what I would have liked. I could have definitely done two more little pointy parts. And if I wanted to, I could probably it might have been a better idea that instead of snipping that second wire, if we did the coiling on the back as well, and then just bound it in the same way. But I think it's very, very important to be constructively critical of our work. Just because, like, treat it like it's the work of a friend who's, you know, who you care about, and you don't want to just shit on their dreams. So, you know, it's like, well, you know, that gap, maybe there's something we could do for that because the wire didn't settle in as cleanly as what I would have liked. But we could totally come in and just do a little bit of like, just spreading that out some, make it look a little bit more. We're still not shipping to the UK because it's $30 and the packages don't always make it. The worst thing is picking apart instead, maybe like you said, say it in a positive way. Yeah, because I can't stop myself. I've not yet been able to stop myself from being critical of my own work, but I can definitely make it be constructive. You know, if I'm going to, so that's, ah, those are always fun to see, little extra beauties. Oh, Misty. But really, I just like this. And there's different things that we could totally lean into. So I'm going to show y'all. Well, y'all get to pick. Do you want to see how to set this style of setting on a round traditional cabochon in that it has no groove added to it, or a teardrop traditional cabochon that has no groove on it as well? But yeah, it's, you know, because part of what makes... Ooh, teardrop. All right, y'all. Stretch break. Get coffee into the body. Num, 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 num. But yeah, it's a lot of the times I think what can help an artist improve is to have that critical eye towards their own work. But if you're just being critical of yourself, who is that serving? You know, is it deflating your enthusiasm for creating? Or is it helping you sharpen and hone your skills. So it's be we are the hydrate. Okay. Hydrate so you don't dehydrate. Do. Um we are the anvil and the forge. And we can really make something of ourselves if we are patient and persistent. And, but if you want to get a plant to grow, you can't just yell at a sunflower until it blooms. You've got to water it, you've got to give it sunshine, you've got to nurture it. So we've got to do that with ourselves. We've got to nurture ourselves into who we're going to become. And what we practice here at our workbench, I think, is part of something that we can take with us into our broader lives. Because if I can be patient with myself, then I can be patient with a friend. Then I can be patient with a stranger. So it's. But some days I just feel like setting the whole desk on fire. So I don't know what to do with those feelings. But, yes, just take it one moment at a time. Well, hey, Error, how's it going? All right. So we have this something that I love. Oh, oh, I'm having ideas. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 strands of the 18 gauge at like a 14 to 16 inch because we gonna make this bougie, y'all. Ooh, Silver Girl says, can you talk about the type of wire used and why? Well, here I'm using the 18 gauge, and this is vintage bronze toned. It's from Parawire. It's covered in a clear enamel, so you don't have to worry about it tarnishing or turning your skin green. But in the kits, we actually are sending out bare copper, which will tarnish and will turn your skin green, but you can like use a torch and ball the ends of it and some different stuff like that. So, but I like using the 18 gauge, and that is American wire gauge. I don't know what the millimeters on, is it? Sorry, guys. Um, but I want something thick enough that it can withstand, or it can hold its own against the 24 gauge weaving wire. Now you could use a 26 gauge or something thinner as well. But trying to practice within the confines of what's in the kit. So there we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're gonna do 4 of them. This is gonna have a little bit of a traditional wrap to it, I think. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But the 24 gauge wire is a little bit thicker, So like if I were using a 20 gauge, it just wouldn't be robust enough. So is that like how you mean, Silver Girl? And then I'm gonna do, there's 1 arm span and 2 arm spans. Oh, hey, Droma. It says, hello, Vaughn. Don't get on your lives anymore. Life changes have intruded. I no longer know what direction to take since the death of my husband. Oh, man. Oh, Droma, I'd be lost. Well, I don't have any words or any advice to give, but we're right here for you right now, Droma. How are you doing? Do you have some coffee in hand or anything like that? I think sometimes the best I can be is just a distraction. But I'm here for it. Oh, welcome back, Amer. Okay, so... Do y'all want to see where we do like where we wrap it together and we wrap it together here and then we do like some bends and it's holding the thing and we add the wire onto that? Or do you want like one of those really pretty woven wire like frame with the interesting bail and stuff? Well, hey, Crystal. Oh my God, it has been ages. It says, hey, Vaughn, how are you, girlfriend? Long time since I caught you live. Well, hey, we're doing real well. We're streaming on Sundays and Fridays now here on YouTube, 11 to 1 on Sundays and 3 to 6 on Fridays. How to wire wrap with fatigued arms. I'll rest first. Yes. Hey, Joshua. Woven frame, interesting bale. Well, alrighty then. Hey, Alan. Al with Kane's Chains. Man, if y'all like badass chainmail, y'all gotta check out Kane's Chains. Hi from Randy? Or is that a hi for Randy? Okay, so let's do, should we do 4 or 5 wires? This one's gonna be like double mega sunshine. Ooh, I've had my 2 coffees this morning onto a protein collagen green smoothie. Oh, well, that sounds yummy. So I think we're going to do the 4 core wires, and then we're going to have these 3 coming off the sides. Okay. Luckily, I didn't get too much wrapped on yet. Okay. So I haven't done one of these in a long time, you guys, but that's okay. I'm a little scared, but we can be brave. So I'm going to take all 4 of these wires, and I'm going to bend them just in the middle, just like this. I'm going to go bonk, and there we go. It's a little tighter than a 90-degree angle. Right on, Lisa. And so now you can see how those would just stack together like so. Kane's Chains. I'm loving what you've been doing, Al. I've been seeing you posting it on the Instagram. You're doing real good. How have your shows been going? And so I'm going to start with the wire that's going to be the innermost one. Ooh. No, yeah, we'll do it this way. Oh, wow. Colton says, have you seen, I'm going to mispronounce it, close art? I think it's very interesting. I think I have. Is that, yes, with like the very pretty filigree and like I don't know if they use enamels or paint to go down into it. I've seen some beads made like that. They were very intricate and beautiful. Okay, Holly says I'm going to put on a rectangle. Should I just work as straight and then bend after? I've personally found that I get my cleanest results when I bend my base wires first. But then it's also a bit of a pain in the neck, but you can start kind of in the straight middle center. Like, where's it? Do I have a rectangular bead? No, I don't. Okay. If this box were a cabochon, I would start here and work my way out with my weaving, and then bend, work my way around the corners, and then work up one side, work up the other side, work up one side, work up the other side, bend, work, bend, bail, like that. Cloisonne. Cloisonne. Did I do it right? Indigo! Thank you! Metal with enamel. Ooh. But that's, Holly, that's just one of like many, many ways that you could pull this off. Like, that's just how I would tackle it. Pretty good. Have one this week, Wednesday. Oh, wow, a Wednesday vending event. Okay, so I've done a questionable amount of coils. Cloisonne. Uh-oh, I've got a sneeze coming, maybe? Boom. Uh-oh. Okay, so I'm going to try to get it around the tip. It is so much easier to do this with a 26 or a 28 gauge wire, you guys. But I am just pushing with my finger and thumb on the right side and then using my left fingernail to like kind of like flick it over. You know what? That's great. Next, see, I mangled my wire. That's okay. Oh, ow. Well, I'm so glad. I'm honored to have been a part of your crafting journey, but you're on your own now, buddy. You're doing great things. Like, I'm in so much admiration of, seeing folks go off and do their thing and do so well at it. So now I'm going to add in the next wire. One. Ooh, and where's one of those little spacer beads at? So this is just the same gauge of wire that's been coiled around an 18 gauge, and I'm just going to slide that on. So it's just a little spacer bead. But this is so that I can go like this and it not squeeze the wires so tight together that I can't fit other weaves in, if that makes sense. Yes, Holly says hard part is not being able to work off the spool when starting at the middle. Usually I have found like my safe bet number is 10 to 12 feet of wire. Ooh, so it can hang sideways from the top two corners. I'm pondering my plan for sure. Oh, a mirror. I bet that'd be great. Ah! Oh, that's the best problem to have, being sold out. Uh-oh, I'm going to need another spacer bead. Boom, we've got one over here. I love that. Whee! Finding little things from other projects. It makes the brain happy. Little dopamine. My little hamster brain. Okay. Because I want to go on one side as I do to the other. So, but we're working with a lot of long wire here. So I'm getting that wire off to the left side. I'm getting that wire off to the right side. And then sliding that spacer up. 1, 2. And now I'm going to leave the spacer on this wire. And we'll just kind of slowly move it as we work. Well, hey, Brenda. How's it going? And I'm going to smush the crap out of it. Because, oh, smush. There we go. Because we're going to add in the third wire. Do. And then we're going to come in here. And if you're having a hard time holding on to stuff, just using your nylon jaw pliers. But really, sometimes don't worry about it being perfect. We'll just squish it back into position in a minute. There's 1, 2. Bending upward. Smushing down. Now with this one, there is kind of a front and a back to this weave pattern, because you'll see there's 2 wraps on the front here. But on the back side, it looks like 3 wrapping around. So that's just something to keep in mind. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just something to be aware of. Then 1, 2. And now that we have both of those up to that point, we can go like squish and smush. Yeah, boy. And I want to keep the tips kind of lined up. Starting this from this is the hardest part of this whole weave to me. And then we're going to take this and we're going to set in the 4th wire. And once we get this set up, we'll kind of be able to do, we'll be able to use our ring clamp. So just bear with me, y'all. There we go. Yee! Restocked on the creamer. Giving it that a smush. And I'm going to go ahead and work it back down, working down the gradient. So unlike on the sunshine rays, this one I'm doing 2 wraps of each one. So there's 1, bending up, and then we're going to come in between wires 3 and 4, and down. And it's just, I mean, all over the place, but that's all right. It didn't need to be anything other than what it is right now. Trust the process. Ooh, before we squanch it down, we gotta get that spacer back in there. One. And again, this is where I like to do that training bend first. Slide our spacer out of the way, get it back up in there, and then bring it down. And then I think I'm going to do 5 coils before we repeat the pattern. And so moving that out of the way again, I'm just going to come in here and come around this first wire, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away. So there's that. We did it on one side, you guys. So now we can do it on the other. And I've not done this before, where we're going to be adding this to this edge. I think it's going to look wicked cool. Okay. So now I do believe we've got enough set up that we can go ahead and clamp it. Ooh, the Italian sweet cream, 0 sugar. That's what I use too, Misty. I agree. Like, that's my favorite pre-made creamer. It's hard to beat homemade whipped cream with brown sugar and honey in my coffee, but that's like, that's a treat. All right, so here we are. We're going to scooch out of the way. I almost feel like I'm going to take this one and I'm going to slide it down onto here. Just because it feels like these wires really want to get super tight. And so just doing that, now I don't have to worry about it, is my hope. I probably still don't have to worry about it, but that's okay. And then there's one. If anybody has any questions, or if I'm going over something too quickly, or if I'm out of frame or anything like that, just holler at me and I'll try my best to be helpful to you. So there's those 2 wraps around those 2. I'm going to work that one on out of the way so we can slide up in between. Get that one kind of out of the way. And there's one. Hey, get it back up in the way. And then, so it feels like moving the slides on like an abacus or something, but, you know, if it's helping us to get the results that we want, then it's worth the effort. Some things just take as long as they take. Okay, getting that wire pulled off to the side, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to squish. Pretty pleased with that. Oh no! Kitsune says, I'm not having fun. I need to change something. Uh-oh. So there's those 2. And if you can kind of picture, this is going to be framing around our pendant, because we're going to want this to be a little 3-dimensional, because this is a pretty deep cabochon. So it'll be sitting kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to not go bonkers with the sugar too, hence the sugar-free stuff. Okay, so just coming up in between, there's one. And there's 2. And there's 1. And there's 2. I'm going to go ahead and squish it because I want to. And then we're going to do 1 and 2 around all 4. And then I'm going to come up between 3 and 4. 1. Oops, and 2. Coming between 2 and 3, there's 1. Oh, this is a ring clamp, yeah. And 2. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, woo, 4, and 5. And we go give that a smoosh. So yeah, with the ring clamp, you can see it's just on a little bit of a hinge. I like the ones with the leather jaws because they don't bite into my wire even when I really wrench it down. But yeah, and then sometimes I'll use the nylon jaw pliers. It's with nursing an old overuse injury, the best thing I've found I can do for myself is to just keep mixing it up, breathing and stretching and moving, and you know, if my hand's tired of holding it one way, then I try a different way of holding it. Okay, so now we're going to come up and in between. I'm going to complete all the wraps on one side so that I know how many I'm aiming for on the other side, and that way I can move my little spacer beads. I'm going to put some tools away because if I've got stuff just sitting out on the table, I get tangled in it. And that makes me get frustrated. And if I get frustrated, then I'm not having as much fun if I weren't frustrated. So now I've got nice open work surface space, at least right here and like off to the edge of my table that way. Because otherwise, if there is something for the wire to snag, you bet it's going to snag it. So just 2 little wraps around both, and then wrap and wrap. There we go. And then wrap. Ooh, poked myself. And right now, everything that I'm using material-wise is still included in your the craft-along kits, because you get 10 yards and 7 yards. That is plenty to make all of the pendants that we have made so far out of our craft-along kit. But again, the kit is not required. You can just use what you have on hand, just as well as anything. So there's 1, and there's 2. But yeah, still having a little bit of trouble keeping my wires straight, but that's okay. It didn't have to be perfect. It's going to still turn out great. And if it's very wavy, then maybe it will just give the illusion of like heat waves coming off of the tarmac or over the desert or something. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you have more than just the 18 gauge and 24 gauge wire in your personal like craft stash, I would totally recommend using a 26 or a 28 gauge for this. But I wanted to, challenge myself and just use what was in the kit to hopefully to be able to inspire, our Happy Crafter Club members of what is possible. So there we have 3 repetitions of this weave. I think we're going to need at least 5 on each side, and that'll be all right. But yeah, so like how I've been struggling with the spacing, getting them perfectly smushed up next to each other, and struggling with my core wires staying straight. If I kept the 18 gauge size, but then went to a 26 or 28 gauge for our weaving wire, then it would eliminate this problem for me. But that might just be something, to test out. Ooh, that's a good question. Virginia says, when you were getting the Potomac kit boxes, did you finish the projects? I've never once finished one of the projects that was their project. But I did use a lot of I mostly used them for earrings, honestly, because earrings and finger rings, because they didn't often have in the kits, in the Potomac bead boxes, there wasn't always enough to be able to do like a whole big necklace or something, at least with the kit that I was getting. But it would be like there'd be like a pack of like 5 beads. And so I would make 2 pairs of earrings and 1 finger ring using those beads. And that was fantastic actually for stocking our booth, because it helped us to have lots of unique earrings, because whenever I make my earrings in big batches, they end up all looking kind of the same. And it really helped me to branch out and get different beads than what I normally would have bought. And so on your next hand rest moment, maybe go over what comes in each level of kit. Ooh, that's a good suggestion. So in the $15 kit, you'd just be getting the 3 cabochons. The $15 kit is fantastic for you want to support the channel, but you already have the wire or chainmail or polymer clay, or you're just very particular and you just want some cabochons. That would be the membership level for you. The $25 kit, you get 3 cabochons as well as the project pack, which for the month of June is you'll get the 3 cabs unwrapped, with the 2 spools of wire and either a bag of 3 12mm red jasper or a bag of 3 12mm Amazonite, to be able to make these little charms that last week's live stream was the focus of. And then the 35, we also offer a 35, 45, and $55 kit, and those are, you just get more. You get the same project pack, but you get, like our 55s get 3 of the grooved cabochons, 3 of the blue aventurine, and 2 of the fire drop. And that varies month to month, but that's been the feedback we've been getting from our Happy Crafter Club members, is that they are very happy with that, and it's something that's been sustainable for Randy and I to be able to make in our kiln. So if I'm happy and if you're happy, then, well, we're doing good. And then also we can just use our pliers if we're having a hard time getting the wire to fit. I'm squeezing tight enough that it still slides on our core wires, but tight enough that it catches the edge of that wire and pushes it up and in. And also with these, every Sunday now we are doing craft along projects here in the live streams, and so I'm showing you guys how to use the materials to make these are going to go up for sale either on my website or in our booth. So this is literally the same materials as what we use to run our business. So I'm sending them out to folks in hopes that if you feel maybe a little overwhelmed or lost and you don't know what to make, but you want to stock your website or go and vend at like a local farmers market or craft shows or conventions or art exhibits or boutiques, like wherever your heart takes you, I want to be helpful to you in that sometimes the hardest part is just getting started, and hopefully this will get you kick started. Ooh, Al, that's a really good tip. He says if you are from Canada, there's a ring company called Chain Reaction that has really nice bright aluminum rings. Ooh. Ooh, Holly says, since you ship tomorrow, do you show order packaging live? Maybe, no, we don't do that. Sometimes I'll get a little bit of clips of it for like in the vlog, but there's people's like personal information on the packaging slips, and I would not live stream that because I don't want to risk doxing people, you know. Oh no, I completely forgot to do the 5 in the middle there. Okay, well, you know, that's okay. We'll just we'll just cry. We'll just undo those 5 and try to do it the same on the other side. But we get to decide though. Do you like it better with them spaced close together or far apart? Oof. Ooh, Jay says, what we making? We are making another evolution. It started off last week with making this pendant. And then earlier today, like in the first half of our stream, we made this pendant. And now I'm seeing if there's a way that we can adapt that for going around a cabochon that it has not had a groove added into it. I actually think I'm going to slip this one onto here. I might like that better, because it still prevents me from pulling this wire down too tightly. So just testing to see what I like best. One and 2, and then 3. Getting that spacing going. And 4. Making magic. Hey Tim, how's it going? So, oh, that's not working out the way I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out, straighten it out, bend it up that way. And I like putting my thumb just to hold it. There we go. We can slide these back up to keep our spacing. Foop. Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah. Defo like that better. Well, hey, Handmaid says, hi, Yvonne. Hi, chat. Hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. It's a very good start to the day. This is our first live stream of the day. And then we will be live streaming, like this goes until, ooh, we're in the minutes. We've got 15 more minutes. I don't know if we're going to get this done, you guys. But then we're going to be streaming dragon sculpting on Kick from with live hummingbird camera feed, which is very fun. We actually got to see some hummingbirds yesterday. Man, that really... I don't know which wire I prefer it on. So I'll just keep swapping it back and forth. But I'm excited. I think I'll be able to make some real progress on those 2 dragon heads today. We might be painting them tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I do think that will be enough. Ooh, Holly says, I'm going out on a limb and trying to do the weave for a big rectangular labradorite and doing it on the spool because pulling wire, I end up just with a big mess. Right on. Good luck to you. We never know how something's going to go until we try. A hummingbird hawk moth? Oh, Oh, not quite the same, but close enough. Just as magical. Oh, those are so fun. When our Tide bottle gourds are flowering, they love to come visit those. So now I'm going to leave that wire on there because that'll likely be what we use to incorporate the bale. And so now from here, because we only have so many minutes left, we're going to take 3 of these wires and we're going to take one of these and put it on, what is it? This one? Yeah. Oh, it was having a field day with my lavender. Nice. And we're going to pull off a little bit more of that 24 gauge. I'm going to go ahead and do, let's do like 5 feet. Nah, we should do 10 feet because I feel like getting frustrated and tangled. And I'm going to come to the center of our wire. So I'm finding the ends. There's our 2 ends. Coming, ooh, there's the project, but I caught it with my feet. Okay, so there's the middle of our new wire. And then we're going to pretend, for the sake of just demonstration, that we've finished this side as well. I'm going to thread one end of this new 20, because if I had my full craft room at my disposal, which the challenge today was to use what was included in the kit, I would have done this in 28 gauge. And then I'd come in and be doing this with the 24 gauge. But I still would have used a 24 gauge spacer so that I could fit the wire through like how we're about to. This design might warrant its own tutorial, but we're prototyping it here. Okay, so I now have 5 feet of wire going off to the left of me and 5 feet of wire here on the right. And I'm going to bend this up and around into a nice coil. Coil, 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 coil. Ooh, finished one section. Getting it, Holly. And I'm going to sew through right here. Amir says, gotta love a live prototype, right? Well, there's no telling if it's going to work or not, but, you know, that's how it goes. Okay, so we have our 2 coils, and then I'm going to add in this wire with our little splice right there. Not splice, but that little spacer bead. Finding the end of our wire. This is not how I want to do this. Okay, because what I was thinking, and I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but I was going to build it out past the edge and then remove this in the next wires. But I'm going to do a thing that I think, because I don't want to have to be hand sewing in between all of these every single time. That's going to get so old so quick. So I'm just going to undo our little bit of coiling. We're going to pull off another length of the 18 gauge wire, about 14 inches. And then coming right back into that same kind of, I didn't even bother to straighten it out because it's already cupped around like it's coiling. All right, so there's our 2 coils. And now we'll take our little wire with the spacer bead on it. And we're going to go 1, 2, smushy squish. No, we're just going to do the 1. And then 2. And then 3 going around all 4. And now we're going to work our way right back down. There's, and again, I'm going to bend up and then come around. There's 1. Bend up and then come around between wires 2 and 3. I don't want to get stuck on our spacer bead. Bah, humbug. Grumble, grumble. And then come up, remove that just a little bit, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, and from here, y'all, we're going to squish it. Foomp. Nice and firm, nice and squishy smushed. Well, hey, Shad, how's it going? And what I'm going to do here is coil number 3 is going to get sewn through here and joined to the frame. What's happening? Okay. Trying to make sure that the wire is all oriented nicely, so no tangles, no kinking. It's okay. This wire is always so kinky. It's fine. Well, hey, Rainbow. I hope you're having a good day at work. And so now from here, and you know, we might make decisions about, let's do 2. There's 1, finding the end. It's cumbersome here at first too because there's so much wire hanging just every dang old which way. But this is where practicing patience comes in so handy, because I did not have the patience to do this piece when I first started wire wrapping. I did not, it's like so much of crafting is more of a feat of endurance than talent. Like, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes the best talent, if I could wish for a talent, it would be to be patient and have the persistence to get through a piece. So we've got 1 and 2 little coils around, just attaching it to the frame. And then we're going to come up and through, because, you know, skill and technique and things, those things will improve if we are patient and persistent with ourselves. Then 1 and 2. So this isn't going to have nearly the density, because these ones I only did 2 little coils in between. So I'm reducing the density, but we'll just see how it goes. Woo! Don't mean to throw the pliers. And then we're just going to come up and in between. And then it's just like how we did with that first piece. And I think it's very important to just start with something like this, because it gives your brain that, like, yay, happy brain chemical of having made something successfully. And then we manage that momentum moving forward into, okay, let's do something more. But it teaches us to have delayed gratification with our work by completing little projects. And so, and again, getting that nice tight upward bend in our coiling wire. Upward bend. Let's scooch that bead out the way, that spacer bead. Get it back up into place so that we don't go smushing anything too hard. And then 1, 2. Focus, Rainbow, focus. Sorry, I'm having really tight through my left collarbone, so I'm going to stretch and breathe. I'm having a difficult time on a project I'll put away for the day and come back the next day, and it usually goes smoother. Right on. That's a really good tip, Virginia. Okay, so now we're going to find the tip of our wire and we're going to sew it through. And then we're going to wrap once. Around those two. 1, 2. And then coming up between, around for the second. Now this part I would not do currently in anything thinner than 24 gauge, because once we get the wire pulled off, we want our little pokey outy bits, our little rays of sunshine, to be robust enough to... Ah, you got a pendant down right on, Kitsune. Congratulations. But we want them to be robust enough to stand on their own without that inner wire supporting it. Uh-oh, now it's all like snagged on the tip of the other part. There we go, got past the tip, excellent. Right on. Well, the nice thing about inventory, Kitsune, is it doesn't go bad. So you're just better stocked for your next event. And that can actually give you a little bit of time to focus on art pieces or trying out new skills or skill sets or designs. Okay, so yeah, just coiling around. Coil, coil, coil. 1, 2. Coming up in between. And 3. Now, I think next weekend on Sunday, even though it will be July, we may be finishing this project because I don't think we'll have shipped out anybody's July projects or anybody's July kits yet. Let me see. Yeah, we won't be shipping out. Well, we won't be shipping out July's kits until the 6th, so next Sunday will be July 5th. I hope everybody has safe and fun July 4th celebrations. My neighbors are already blowing up fireworks well into the night, so it's that time of year again. But next Sunday, we will be finishing this piece together, and I'm very excited for that. We are going to be streaming again today from 3 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time over at kick.com. You can sign up for our free newsletter at backtoearthcreations.com so that you always get notified whenever we have new tutorials, new live streams, or shop updates. And then I'm going to finish up this one. We got the 1, 2 wrap on here. Fortunately, the fireworks do not bother Z or Ember. We have elderly pets, so they are deaf AF. But you know, it's just noisy, and Randy and I are curmudgeons. We don't really care for having neighbors in the first place, so oh yeah, that's a good point, Misty. Yeah, we got a lot of core wires going on here. But I'm going to take this one, and I want to sew through. I'm going to come up right here in between those. This one's like double sunshine. Well, hey, color. I try to be chill, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very excitable, so I practice being zen as much as possible. Ooh, Danielle's is taking a break from making strawberry jam or strawberry lemonade, and then on to strawberry and blackberry jam. Thank you, honey. I'm finishing up this stitch, and then I'm gonna log. That sounds so nice, Danielle. Good way to spend the day. And so just pulling that wire through the back, and then coming up and in between, and then coming around. And before I get stabilized in between those other like coils that we've added or weaving, I want to make sure that, there we go, the positioning is correct. I don't want this hanging off the end too far because we're fixing to not be able to make any changes. Like it's going to be kind of stuck. There we go. There's one. And I don't know if I'm explaining that well, so let me get this coil done and I'll point it out. There we go. So how I've got those coils in between right here where it just joined together, that's really going to start determining, you know, I'm not going to be able to push it up much farther because it'll be stopped by the other wire weaving. So you might be able to see here, these 3 wires will be what we're removing, and we'll just have that nice little sunshine fringe coming off the edges. And I'm kind of excited to see how that will look because we're going to have this teardrop in here. But yeah, I'm excited. So not bad for the last hour of our project, but I will see y'all in our other live streams later today, and then we'll be streaming again tomorrow on Kick. But then we will see you in Tuesday's vlog update, where you'll be able to see some of the behind the scenes of our live streams and live auction, as well as lots of garden tour, you guys. So much fun in the garden. But I will see y'all later. So thank you so much for hanging out. Send us a message or leave a comment if you have any questions. And until next time, happy crafting. Mwah. Bye.